educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Thank y'all very much for tuning in today. I have a pioneer with us who has been distinguished as one of only 2 American master trainers of an ancient royal Indonesian energy and martial arts system. He masterfully integrates this unique next-level practice with modern scientific methodologies and technologies through his creation of the Integrated Ascension Method, I Am, and the White Dove Method. His groundbreaking work, rooted in over 20 years of teaching globally, is renowned for enabling unparalleled personal development and superhuman breakthroughs, promoting physical, mental, and spiritual growth via revolutionary breathwork, meditation, energy management, and holistic therapies. And a lot of us need this type of thing because a lot of times we deal with anxiety, we're dealing with depression, we're dealing with stress. And I wish I would have known this practice probably a good 12, 14 years ago when a lot of you know, I had gotten sick and I was unable to continue in my corporate America job. Now, granted, it was a interlude in me helping y'all out and getting to this point, right? So it was actually another space. But a lot of times we don't have this in our repertoire, our tools of moving forward. And I thank y'all very much for listening to That Will Never Work today. I bring none other to you, the pioneer himself, Nate. Nate, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Maurice, thank you so much. And hello to everybody out there listening or watching right now. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. I love to help inspire those, but I'm not just here to have people be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
We go through different phases, right? We'll be inspired, then we'll be motivated. Then we want some transformation, but that just means change. Everybody who's ever stepped on a landmine or had a terminal illness has transformed. It's not always good. I'm here to help people in their personal liberation.
So, something you mentioned when you said about change, a lot of people, Nate, don't like change. It comes with stress. It comes with anxiety for some of us. Not all of us, but some of us. We don't deal with that very well. So, how would you suggest for someone to deal with that in a natural perspective? Not so much, hey, I need to go on drugs or whatever else, like other people cope with it, if you will.
So, yeah, that's a great question. And here's the thing that I would portend for everybody out there. You don't have a choice. Change is going to happen. So 3 things that you can count on being here on the planet that you can't argue with. These are just the facts.
Mm-hmm.
We're here having an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Ongoing, and you cannot shut it off. No matter what you try. The deepest meditation will take you into a state of peace and inner peace and quiet. Then you're experiencing the peace and inner quiet. But no matter what, you will be having an experience. So we have this opportunity every single moment of every day to ask a very important question. How is this for me? Whatever I'm experiencing, how is this for me?
Mm-hmm.
And then another important question, what do I prefer to experience now?
Hmm.
Now, of course, we have many different situations and circumstances in our life that we choose consciously or unconsciously, because everybody's got their goal line, right? They want to do something, but not a lot of people pay attention to their soul line and what their higher aspect of themselves wants to learn through these different experiences. And once we actually ask that question, how is this for me? Or if it's somebody who you're you're having contrast with them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they pissed you off, maybe they stepped on your toes, whatever, you have a disagreement, asking, how is this me?
Mm-hmm.
How is this a reflection of exactly what I do in my life, whether it's outward or inwardly directed?
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that makes sense, that no matter what, change is going to happen for us. But here's the interesting thing with what my integrated ascension method, I brought a very special, ancient, sacred lineage of breathwork. Yes, also martial arts, but really it's a human potential activator that has allowed people to develop sight without using their eyes. It's just straight up Jedi skills. And I've been able to prove that that's possible to medicine and science over the past 25 years, that yes, some people can learn how to see with their mind, not with their eyes. but also we are our own healer. We are the medicine. And I think most people, including doctors, admit this, that no one actually heals anybody else. We have the potential to heal. We just need to have the right conditions for it. So if you have an infection, the doctors will give you antibiotics to help kill those bacteria that are harmful so your body can then fight them off and repair itself. So we have these abilities. We have this gift of being this amazing, infinite, unlimited, eternal being on the planet, whether we're a Fortune 500 CEO or we're a soccer mom or we're a custodian at a school, it doesn't matter. We're here having experience. It's ongoing. You can't shut it off. Change is inevitable. And we get the opportunity to frame in our mind and in our heart how we want to approach that and how we want to not just react. We want to act toward that and choose a different path. That's why we have these contrasting experiences, is so that we then choose a different way. And so for business owners, people wanting to step into the business space, there are a couple big hurdles that people face. Number one is the fear. The fear, will I succeed? Or, man, will I be massively successful? Because both of those fears are real.
Yes.
The fear of failure and the fear of success. I think the fear of success, an upper limit problem, as the author Gay Hendricks in his book, The Big Leap, talks about that. You just saw Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI yesterday. All the money in the world, all the fame, and yet some people, and a lot of people, most people, almost all people, have this invisible glass ceiling for themselves that when they achieve what they want, whack, they hit it and they sabotage themselves. That's very common, especially in the most successful of people.
Right.
And so this is something for us to be aware of and be able to make these choices. So with the integrated ascension method, what this does is it helps people in a reliable, methodical way that's backed by science, but it can also go into the woo-woo as well. Depends on the person, what they want to bring to it. It's really a customizable Swiss Army knife of our own human potential based upon a type of breath work that no one else does. It's not Wim Hof. It's not holotropic. It's not pranayama. It's not just deep meditation and slow breathing. This stuff, the kings of Java, what they were able to develop to help build the energy in our body, the actual bioelectricity that we can now measure in every one of our cells, and help take that from a 5 to an 11 at will within minutes. Now, granted, it's intense. It's not an easy practice, but it is something that if people learn this method in 10 minutes a day, they will feel awesome for the rest of their day. They'll have a stronger immune system. They'll have more stamina. Their libido goes through the roof. We've saved a lot of marriages, we'll put it that way. And this is something that when we're looking to step into our own career, even whether we're an independent contractor or we want to start our own S Corp and we want to have 50,000 employees, these are all just different varying levels of our own personal expansion and what we want to do. But here's the thing, if you don't have enough energy to go do it, what you're going to do is you're going to find a breaking point. And everybody does, especially the highest performers. They break. And that's the thing. You can only run your engine in the red line for so long before it starts to break down. And so that's what I really love to help people do. I love to help them find out how they can fine tune their engine, feel the best they've ever felt, heal, be healthier by their own volition and their own practice, and do so in a way that is reliable, methodical, proven for centuries, and one that they've never heard of before. So it gets to be something also novel and new, but also really familiar, because everybody comes into this life with a breath and they leave with a breath. But in between, about close to 30,000 times a day, we have the opportunity to focus on that breath. And it is the number one most powerful energy giving process in the body. Just try to go in 3 minutes without air. See what happens. Right?
I guess a swimmer would know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think one of the things that I'm taking from what you're talking about is that phrase, mind over matter, right? A lot of times we don't understand what that means, because the matter part being things that's in our hand, things that are tangible. Because a lot of us don't believe in anything that we can't touch. Less important, us seeing something, so how do we create that mindset to be able to believe that something like this we have control over as something as simple as a breath that's supposed to be involuntary?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the interesting, cool thing about this. So even babies that are born in the water, they know exactly how to hold their breath from minute zero on the planet. So our breath is the only autonomic nervous system function that we can consciously control. Some yogis have been able to control their immune system or their digestion. Okay, sure, after decades of devoted practice, right? And nobody got time for that. We all know how to hold our breath. So here's the cool thing. Our breath is the number one process in our body that we absolutely have to have. That and our heartbeat, right? But now most people cannot consciously control their heartbeat. But our breath, we have that unlocked from the second we come onto the planet. Now, why that's really relevant is because most people breathe far too much. Now, I won't get into the deep science of this. People can go to my website and they can find out a lot more about this. But the average person is going to, first of all, breathe very shallowly and breathe far too often. We need more carbon dioxide. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but carbon dioxide is the most important element for our body. Every one of our cells needs it because you cannot release oxygen from your blood without carbon dioxide. It's the catalyst. It's the key that unlocks the briefcase with millions of dollars, or actually trillions of dollars when we're talking about on this scale. And the thing is that most people breathe way too much. They hyperventilate all the time. And then people even go into, and everybody out there listening, this is very important. Pay attention to this. There's something called email apnea. Now, we've all heard of sleep apnea, and it can lead to strokes. It can lead to high blood pressure, heart attacks, digestive issues, immune function issues, also obviously insomnia and sleep issues, which can be detrimental for the entire body. But did you know that now it's pretty much a pandemic throughout the entire world where people start holding their breath unconsciously while they're swiping on their phone. They're doing the same things to themselves with their eyes open as they do when they're asleep. Now, you're not going to walk around with a CPAP machine on all the time, right? It's important that you pay attention. And everybody, if you're out there listening, just do this with me. Breathe in fully and breathe all the way out. Squeeze all the air out of your lungs. And do that a few times a day. Remind yourself to breathe, not just breathe, but breathe fully. Exercise your diaphragm, exercise the lung capacity, because lung capacity is the number one factor in longevity above all other things. How much you can fully breathe out. That's where your lung capacity comes from, not how much you can breathe in, not how much you can hold, how much you can breathe out. But most people, the bottom third of their lungs, they never ever use it. And that's where 2/3 of your oxygen is absorbed. And fun fact for everybody out there interested in science, you can do all the cleanses that you want and drink all the juices, put the foot pads on, go and get the stuff sucked out of your feet, whatever. But over 70% of all the toxins in your body leave through your breath. So over 70%, all the heavy metals, all the toxins. So if you are not breathing fully and completely throughout your day, it's no wonder you feel sick and run down and stressed, and you're getting broken down from the inside. You're leaving all the poison inside yourself. And so big, powerful, deep breaths are the key to detoxing your body. It's also the number one way that we lose weight. So diet's important. Exercise is important, right? But you have to breathe correctly in order to lose weight. It's the most important metabolic process that we have. And most people are completely oblivious unless they're in an elevator and somebody passed gas and they can't get out and they have to hold their breath, or they're sick and or say they have COVID or asthma, COPD, emphysema, something like that, where their breathing is impinged. Well, then they're going to pay attention to their breath. But most people just do it on autopilot all the time. And it's the most important thing that we can do is pay attention to our breath, because there are over 200 different health effects and diseases that are caused directly by improper breathing. This is medical scientific testing over literally a couple centuries, or a century and a half at least. So if you don't breathe right, expect to get sick. But the cool thing is, anytime during your day, you have the option to step into proper breathing, and your entire body is going to feel better. Your energy, your stamina, your vitality, like I mentioned before, your virility, your immune system function, the ability to de-stress and stop breaking down your tissues and causing disease by producing too much cortisol. And instead you get into the nice oxytocin, vasopressin, serotonin loop, where you start to calm your body down. You start to feel better in every part of you, including the way that you're thinking and the way that you're feeling. And that helps inform how you then show up and who you're being. So people around you, they'll like you more when you breathe right too.
So, you know what? Talking about this deep breath and breathing out, filling up the lungs and breathing out, I liken that idea to letting go.
Amen.
A lot of us don't know how to let go. Whatever the situation is, we don't know how to let go. And so how can we get to that point? Because a lot of times, like you said, whether it's checking email, social media, we have all these external pressures beyond our own internal pressures we might have, whether it's a goal, a dream, and families, whatever it is. But how do we get to a point where we can finally let go of certain situations, especially since we've been holding on to it for the last 20 years?
Absolutely. And so, interesting thing, it's a very common thing through the integrated ascension method breathwork that people have deep cathartic releases, not intentionally, but things from their childhood, things from their earlier in their life. Maybe it was something that happened last week. The major shocks and traumas just releasing, and it's pretty amazing and beautiful to see that. But yes, breath is the first key to help us do that. And so it is an interesting thing out there, everyone. You don't have to raise your hand, but if you were in front of me, I would ask for the group, raise your hand if you've ever experienced anxiety. And you're probably going to have about 80% or 90% of the people raise their hand, maybe a little bit, maybe really high. And I'll see a bunch of armpits out there when people are raising their hands so high because they experience anxiety, depression, and stress so often. So here's an interesting thing. Anxiety, if you start to breathe deeply and properly, it moves from anxiety to excitement. You keep doing it, and it starts to move from excitement to exhilaration. So I've heard it said that anxiety is simply excitement without the breath. So what happens also, carbon dioxide, right? So if somebody's having a panic attack, they're hyperventilating. Now, if they're an enemy, you might give them a plastic bag, but your friends, give them a paper bag. Have them breathe in and out of that paper bag. It's going to be recycling that carbon dioxide back into their body, and it actually moves us from fight or flight into rest and digest, from the sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance, and it calms our entire nervous system down using our breath. So that doesn't mean go and breathe into a paper bag,
Right.
having a panic attack, but it does mean that when we focus on our breath all the way fully out, hold it there. Then slowly breathe in. Let your stomach expand. Draw that air deep into your lungs, all the way fully inflating your lungs up into the top, and then fully breathe all the way out. I have a very special gift for everybody who's listening or watching right now, and that is a free I Am Energy shielding class. Now, shielding. Most people, I'm sure, have had the experience of walking into a room, people have been fighting, or someone doesn't like you, or you can feel the tension in that room. We are walking, talking, breathing antenna. We have all kinds of input coming in through many more than just our five senses at all times.
Right.
And we're also broadcasting our energy at all times, whether we want to or not. So with that in mind, with this class, this free class that I'd like to have everybody go and check out, I will teach you what is called the perfect breath. Now, science has found the human body has a perfect breath rhythm for our homeostasis, where we're absolutely calm. And that is a 5.5 second inhale, 5.5 second exhale, in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can count on your head, but you can also go get my free class and I will lead you through that. And every single person, when I run webinars, which I love to do those at least once a month for high level executives and influencers, athletes, almost every single person either doubles to 5x's the length that they can hold their breath within 3 minutes time. Just doing this perfect breath. That's all. Full breath in, all full breath out for 3 minutes straight. Their breath capacity goes through the roof. 100% of the time, if they have lungs. If they don't, I can't really help. And with that said, on that, there's also this thing where if you've ever, like I said, been in that room and you just, it feels icky, it feels sticky, it feels, there's negative vibes, right? Let's call it that. What if there was a way that you could almost immediately shield yourself from those so that you stay sovereign in your mind, you stay sovereign in your energy, what you're feeling, and you allow that to happen because you're in the world but not of the world kind of thing. And you could do that simply with a visualization and a special breath work that I'll just say it's very impactful for the people who deal with high stress situations. Maybe it's in your car, maybe it's in the boardroom, maybe it's on the soccer field, maybe it's in the gym, maybe it's in your own mind. But this is something that a lot of people love. So on my website, which I think I got a really sexy website. When I got it, I was like, how is that available for me? Wow. My website is iampure.energy. It's not a .com, it's a .energy. So iampure.energy. Right there, you can just sign up for the free class and go check that out. And within 15 minutes, you're going to have 2 different skills that you can apply anytime in your life, no matter where you're at, and you will feel better, guaranteed, 100%, full stop. There's no way you cannot. But what it's going to do, just full disclosure on this, everyone, is it's going to point out how much you've been neglecting your breath and your own sovereignty and your own mind in the face of other people's negative energy and their onslaught of what they're broadcasting, consciously or not. It's going to make you very well aware of that. And once you ring that bell, you can't go back. So if you want to stay asleep, that's okay. I love you anyway. If you want to wake up to how you can immediately improve your feeling, this class is for you.
So thank y'all. Nate, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I hope that everyone, you got that iampure.energy. Please go on there, take a look at that. I'm going to be honest with you. I did go on there and I took the little quiz. I am the open-minded seeker. So I want y'all to take a look at that and find out what that means, But Nate, thank you very much for coming on the show. But I got to ask you my question, bro.
Sure.
My would you rather question. Would you rather choose 3 doors or a fork in the road?
For me, I would say the fork in the road. And I say that because with the door, I have no idea what I'm actually choosing. But with the fork in the road, I might be able to see down the road just a little bit and know a little bit more about what I'm actually stepping into and choosing. And I prefer to know a little bit more. And that's one thing I love about what I do is I'm the first person to tell everybody out there, don't believe a word I say. Go figure it out for yourself. And at least with the integrated ascension method, everybody feels something. So then once you feel it, then you know it. Because belief is a poor substitute for knowledge. It's a terrible substitute for knowledge. I'm only interested in, like I said, liberation. You can only liberate your own mind through knowing. It can't be through belief. It has to be through knowing. So I love the fact that I have something that can help people experience. And then guess what? They are going to choose their own fork in their road based upon knowledge, not based upon just faith. Faith is important, but knowledge is also great too.
Cool. Nate, I appreciate you coming on today and sharing with us.
Maurice, I have something. I am so blessed to be here. And I have something else for anybody who's interested in any of my digital programs, which take you much further than my free one does. If you type in Maurice 10, that's Maurice 10, you'll get 10% off right away. And so that's a gift that I would like to extend to everybody out there listening to That Will Never Work, because a lot of times it will. Especially when we focus on it the right way and we put the intention, manifestation, and the hard work into it. Absolutely, it will work. And so I'm one of those people that loves it when people say that will never work. I'm like,
I know,
yeah.
that's right.
Watch. Oh, you think so? Well, watch this.
Right.
And I know a lot of people out there listening are the same way. And the thing is, you have to be healthy enough, strong enough, and aware enough so that you have not just a long health span, but a long fun span. I just coined that. It's a fun lifespan. Yes, that's what I want, and I want that for you too. So, thanks so much, Maurice. I hope everybody has a great now and day on purpose.
Thank you very much, and I thank y'all for listening to That Will Never Work podcast. And as always, I will talk to y'all a little later.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?